Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Midnight Movie Mania. I am your host, John, and with me is my co host, Alex.
Hello.
Right then.
That's all you're getting.
Right then, for this one, we are covering Alex's pick, Battle Royale from 2000.
I'm very excited for this one. It's
Mm,
one of my favorites.
mm.
Uh, yeah.
Me personally, this is the third time I've saw this movie,
hmm
and I think I first saw this back in the early 2000s when I think it was
hmm
Channel 4 had an extreme Asian month because they had used to these theme months and
hmm
they had like extreme cinema month and like slasher months and blah 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 and such and had like anime month and unfortunately I stopped doing that so which is a bit sad because it was quite cool and I watched this thing and I didn't get it and then I wasn't really interested in it.
hmm
Then we did it for this, so I watched it last week. As I said in a previous podcast, I unfortunately spilled a can of Pepsi over my laptop, which was joyful. So we had to skip the recording to tonight. So, and this is now and I watched it today, so that's now the third time I've watched it, and I still don't get what the fuck's going on. So, what I might do for this podcast is hand over the reins to you, and you can hit me with the plot summary and all the little trivia and such that you found and what you've done.
Well, I will do my best to
Oh,
fill
and
those
I've got a
shoes.
few questions here that myself and my partner did when we watched it. 'Cause we watched it at what was it, 5:30, and we finished it at
Oh,
9:15. So we were pausing and discussing did it, and he hit me with a big bunch of questions. So I've got them here. So
alrighty.
I'll just hand the reins to you then.
Alrighty. Well, like you said, it's Battle Royale. It was released in December of 2000, so this year was the 25th anniversary. I unfortunately missed screenings that were available in the movies, which is sad because I would love to see this on the big screen. But I've seen both the theatrical release and the director's cut version, which are both pretty much the same. The director's cut just adds a little bit more flavor that kind of broadens your understanding, I guess, of like what's going on, like some of the motivations, etc., for different people. But I'll I'll kind of run through the plot a little bit here, and maybe as I'm going through, if you have any of those questions that
Mm.
kind of make sense
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
bring up, we can touch on those. So essentially, the film kind of starts out with I think it's class 3B. They're called in this class, and the teacher, Kitano, is the teacher, and someone runs in, stabs him in the leg. Another student goes by the name of Nobu, who is then essentially expelled by the sounds of it from school and doesn't return until the main part of the movie starts, where he comes back a year later because they're going on their end of year class trip.
Mm-hmm.
You also have the girl, the main girl lead, who is Noriko Nakagawa, played by Aki Maeda. And she's kind of more of she's very respectful to her elders and very kind of reserved, empathetic.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the only one that shows up to class that day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the teacher Kitano, as we progress through the movie, we learn he has some kind of respect, admiration, possibly loving affection for her. It's
Mm.
unclear
See,
as to what that
I
is.
thought he was her father, because I was going,
No,
hmm.
no, he just I think he seems to appreciate her respect for him and other adults
Mm.
that the other children don't seem to have, which is where the bulk of the movie comes in. The Japanese government, the kind of basis for this movie is that it's some kind of near future world where the Japanese government has instituted what they call the Battle Royale Act,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically each year a class of students is selected at random and sent to a deserted or an abandoned island, and they face off against each other over a 3 day period.
Mm-hmm.
It's life or death. Last one standing is the winner. What the prize is they get to not be dead. And I guess the whole premise is that by doing this, it's expected that children will respect their adults more because
Mm.
they have battled each other to the death. And anyway, but yes, so after that kind of intro piece where he gets stabbed, you see that kind of thing between him and Noriko. You then move to the bus, and this is where the class is all on the bus. You kind of get glimpses of each of the characters, including kind of our main protagonist, Shuya Nanahara, played by Tatsuya Fujiwara. Um, I think one of the things it's good to remember when you're watching movies, I mean specifically Japanese movies, depending on who's speaking, the name they may use for someone may differ. Typically, it's going to be their surname, so you'll see him quite often referred to as Nanahara.
Mm.
But if they're closer to them or they're maybe a peer, they may refer to them by their first name, which in this case would be Shuya.
Mm.
So you have Shuya and Noriko, who are kind of I guess they become like a love, they're each other's love interest.
Mm-hmm.
Although Shuya, we learn through the movie that Shuya promised to his friend Nobu, which is the one that stabbed the teacher, that he would continue to protect Noriko because Nobu was in love with Noriko, um, and Shuya was doing him that favor. But anyway, they're on the bus. You see an interaction where Nobu and Shuya, Noriko, they take this photograph.
Mm-hmm.
There's cookies that Noriko has baked for everyone in this little cute package that become a central part of the movie.
Mm, well. Mm.
Um, and at some point, they all black out,
Mm-hmm.
and we realize that something has happened. And when they eventually wake up, they are in an abandoned, I guess it could be a school building or just an abandoned building of some kind. And that's when they're informed that they are, in fact, the class chosen for this year's Battle Royale,
Mm-hmm.
which is being headed by their previous school teacher, Kitano. He then explains what happens, not just himself, but also with a comically ridiculous
Oh, there's
video.
right, one question right off the bat. Is this
Yeah,
former teacher the minister of the Battle Royale stuff? Because when he's taking a phone call,
no.
because he's on the phone to his daughter and she calls him
Mhm,
minister. So I just assumed that he was the minister because why is he in charge? He's just a school teacher. Why is
mhm,
he got control of the soldiers? So that was one of the main I had, not that my partner had. I
mhm.
was like, is he the minister in charge of all this thing?
No, I think that was more the phone call that he receives from his daughter later in the movie. It kind of more goes to show his relationship with her and the names that she calls him, and it's a very strained relationship. He's not like the specific head of the Battle Royale thing, but I think he placed himself into that position because this was his class.
Hmm.
And for him, it's a little bit more about revenge because of the way he was treated by them.
Okay. So basically,
Uh,
the lead girl is the perfect version of his daughter, and that's why he took a
yes,
shine to her. Let's see. Right, okay. Then.
I believe that would be the case. Depending on the version of the movie you watched, the director's cut kind of suggests almost it's hard to tell if I guess if we're not really ingrained in Japanese culture what it is, but from an outside perspective, it almost feels that there's like a romantic affection he has for her.
Mm.
I could be completely misreading that, but that is my interpretation. One of the epilogues or requiems or whatever they call them, um, they go for ice cream.
Mm.
They're walking along the riverside,
Mm-hmm.
they're eating ice cream together. Shortly after he has resigned from his position at the school after his stabbing, and she tells him that she's kept the knife that Nobu used to stab him for reasons,
Mm.
sentimental or something weird. And I believe his final words on this, which are kind of said from his mind rather than out loud, are what should an adult in this moment, what should an adult say to a kid? And I'm just like, I don't know, because it felt kind of like almost romantic affection in some ways. I'm like, that's a weird line.
Mm.
But I mean, if it were from the perspective of maybe this is like his ideal daughter figure, it's coming from a place of a father thinking, how do I address this? Because he clearly doesn't know how
Mm.
because of his own relationship with his own daughter.
This is
Yeah.
why I assumed he was her father because later on he gives her
Hmm.
an umbrella. I'm like, what the
Hmm.
fuck? So why would he risk his life to give her an umbrella? I mean,
Hmm.
I just assumed he was her father. So, eh.
Yeah, it was just a show of respect.
Hmm.
Um, she shows him respect, definitely more respect than anybody else has
Mm-hmm.
clearly in his life. So yeah. But back to them in the classroom,
Mm-hmm.
the abandoned classroom. The whole class is there. They wake up. They've got on these metal collars.
Mm-hmm.
There are two students in the room with whom they've never seen before,
Mm-hmm.
who are both just from the framing. You can see they are evil villains. You zoom in on the one, and he's kind of in darkness. The light shines on his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That's same with the other one. They have like their little pose, and clearly they're evil.
Yeah,
And then yes,
because
sorry, go on.
sorry, I called the the darker one anime guy because he is basically an anime villain, and I called the other
Hmm.
one the romantic bad boy sort of thing. Now the oh he's a bad boy, but I can
Yes.
tame him sort of thing, and that's what I called it. Because basically
Hmm.
the one in the other corner, the evil one, was basically every single anime villain ever. I mean, he didn't give a shit. He was getting weapons from everywhere and anywhere, and he had a gun that seemed to fire unlimited bullets. I'm like, where the fuck did he get his gun from? He's just shooting it constantly. I'm like, wow.
Hmm.
So he's a atypical
Yeah,
anime villain. So especially with the hair,
absolutely.
and it's like, oh dear.
Yes,
So.
he's definitely painted in that light for sure. And yes, Kitano explains to them, you can't take off the collars.
Mhm.
If you try to tamper with them in any way, they'll go off. If you try to leave the island, they'll go off.
Mm.
If you are in an area at some points during we'll call it the game, different areas of the island become
Mhm.
danger zones.
Mhm.
And if you're in those danger zones when that time happens, your collar will go off.
Now, see,
And then, yes,
I
sorry,
know,
Karen.
I know that they sued Hunger Games because Hunger Games basically ripped us off. But did
Mm,
they sue Fortnite? Because Fortnite and PUBG is basically the same fucking principle. Kill or be killed, but at certain points the map will try to expand and kill you and as such. So did they sue
mm.
Fortnite and various other versions of Fortnite or did you just went, oh, forget it? I mean, because I know Fortnite is worth
Not to my
billions,
knowledge.
so
Yeah, exactly. Not to my knowledge. I mean, the movie in itself was an adaptation of the Battle Royale book, which was released in the late 80s.
mm.
Um, so, I mean, the idea has obviously been there for a little while. But yeah,
So,
I mean, the parallels with Hunger Games are definitely there to the point where, one of my little trivia pieces, I guess you could say, there was talks of doing an American remake because that's what America loves to do,
hmm
use existing IP and make more money off of it rather than original ideas. But they wanted to do that. However, it had been pointed out that at this point, an American remake of this movie, everybody would just say, well, this is the Hunger Games, despite the fact that this movie came many years.
mm.
The whole Battle Royale was many years before Hunger Games, but they didn't want that comparison to be made because, for obvious reasons, I
Mm.
think.
Mm. Mm.
Um, so that never happened,
Okay.
obviously, because we would have seen it.
So there's one major question I had: why didn't Stephen King sue? Because this rips off the Running Man, basically, because they have the collars on at the start of Running Man, and you've got told to survive to get from
Mhm.
whatever it was. So why didn't Stephen King sue? So what came first, Running Man the book or the Battle Royale book? I mean, so
That's a good question. Let's take a look. The Running Man. There's a movie of that coming out, I believe, as well now.
mhm.
I saw.
Yes,
Um, or it's already come out, apparently.
yes,
It says
yes,
2025.
yeah.
I wanted to see that. I'll perhaps wait until it's available on
It's
to
on
download.
streaming. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there was a 1987 film of The
Yes,
Running Man.
yes, the Arnie
So
movie.
that would predate, obviously, the book. I don't know. I think we're talking about a similar concept, I guess, with a different execution.
Okay, then, fair enough. Fair enough.
So I imagine that's where I would go with that.
Mm,
Um, in this case, I think in The Running Man, they are, at least according to his blurb, they're uh, prisoners where
mhm,
they can run to freedom as long as they're the last one
mhm, mhm.
there and they have the collars on and stuff. But in this case, they are basically innocent children that are being subjected to this by government rule for reasons
Mm.
because children don't respect their elders in the
Yeah,
future.
that was the major question that both of us had. Why is the government doing this? Because
Hmm.
you're going to kill off huge chunks of the population. If this happens every year and as a class of what, 40 people, that's going to
Mm,
kill off an entire generation, pretty well, no entire generation, but an entire like small towns population.
yeah.
So I mean,
I mean, Tokyo itself in Japan is a mega city, a
yes,
hyper mega city. So, I mean, it's a drop in the bucket in that sense. Um, but really the whole point was kids were out of control.
mm-hmm,
Obviously, they had no issue stabbing their teacher.
mm,
Um, and they had lost all respect for authority.
yeah,
And their way of trying to get that back was the Battle Royale Act,
mm.
which I wouldn't say is necessarily very successful because,
It's
well, I
still
mean,
going on.
just
I mean,
look,
yeah,
he still gets stabbed by the
yeah,
student
yeah.
despite the Battle Royale Act being in
Yeah,
effect.
basically, this reminds me of what's happening right now with Gen Alpha
Yeah.
that can't read at 13, aren't potty trained
Mhm.
at 7. You know, they can't
Yeah.
count, they can't read, they can't tell the time on a clock. If it's an
Hmm.
analog clock, that is. They have no idea. They've got an attention span of less than 8 seconds. They're constantly
Hmm.
fidgeting. They're constantly doing stuff, and
Yeah.
the education rate has dropped 30%. So,
Yeah.
is this? I mean, I asked my partner tonight. Is Idiocracy a documentary?
I, Idiocracy at this point is very much a documentary
I mean,
because that is the current state of the United States,
hmm
basically.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um, Obviously, it's exaggerated slightly,
yeah.
ever so
Just,
slightly.
mm,
Um, but absolutely, when you look at the state of particularly the United States, I
hmm
think, and what's going on there, not to get political, yeah, I mean, the literacy rate there for a first world country,
hmm
one of the allegedly richest countries in the world, the literacy rate is so low.
mm,
Yeah, idiocracy. Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
It's at that point now. But anyway,
mm,
they watched the video, they
hmm
learned the rules, which I kind of just went over. I love the video. I think that like element because it was so stupid and hilarious and very much like game show style.
hmm
Additional trivia piece. So the teacher, Kitano, who was played by his name is Beat Takeshi.
hmm
I don't know if it's Beat or like Beat or whatever, but Beat Takeshi. He was chosen specifically because at the time he was one of the most successful Japanese celebrities, and he actually hosted Japanese game shows. And so they felt he had enough credibility to draw people in, but also having him, who they may know him from these game shows,
mm,
now in charge of this quote unquote game show
mm.
was kind of like an interesting kind of way of going about things. He actually hosts Takeshi's
I
Castle,
was about to
which
ask
you
her,
may be familiar
is is he
with. Yeah.
the Takeshi as in Takeshi's Castle? I was just about to ask her, just as when you finished your sentence, I was going to go Takeshi's Castle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, oh my God. So,
Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting to learn that. I remember watching that in the 90s and
mm, hmm
so ridiculous.
mm,
Um, so yes, they're then while all this is going on, at some point students interject with questions or what am I looking for here? Complaints, I guess. To which they are responded with being killed,
yes,
mostly. Specifically, and most influentially, I would say the character of Nobu
mm,
uh,
hmm
set off his collar. He's looking around for someone to help him, but of course, nobody wants to help him because he's going to blow up. And he looks to his friend Shuya, who, is being held back, can't do anything about it, and boom, his head explodes. Well,
See,
his head doesn't explode, the
I
collar
yeah,
explodes,
I thought the
and
head
he
was
dies.
going to pop like a balloon, but it's only the throat.
Mhm.
It goes, and that was it. I thought it was going to go boom and like a big explosion.
Yeah.
I mean, but no, I was like,
I feel like it was subdued in that way, probably for a ratings reason.
mm,
Just knowing that this movie in Japan, the reaction to this movie in Japan initially was very similar to how the British, um, I guess, Film Certification Board, whatever you call
yeah,
it, or
the
public reaction
BBFC,
to
yeah.
Clockwork Orange.
Oh, okay then.
It was very comparable.
Mm,
And so my guessing is they kind of subdued certain elements to, ensure that they wouldn't be too harshly, whatever. They still were
mm,
because it was considered to be extremely awful to send children to their ultimate death.
mm,
Um, but yeah. So a couple of the characters die, and then they all get called out by their class number one by one,
mm-hmm.
where they are handed a backpack. They are able to take personal belongings. It says the girls specifically can take the personal belongings
Yes,
because of tampons, personal
yes.
things like that. But it seems like everybody takes their backpack. I don't understand. But they get given a backpack which contains basic rations for 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
It has a map, um, etc. But it also contains an item of varying degrees of greatness
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that can be used as a potential weapon or gives them potentially a strategic
Mm.
advantage over others.
Yeah.
The point being, it's completely random as to which backpack you get and which quote unquote weapon you get.
Mm.
And
Mm.
it's essentially showing that life isn't fair.
No, that's true.
Sometimes you get the pot lid, and sometimes you get the machine gun.
By the way, I love the
In
fact.
my life, I've definitely been given the pot lid.
Yeah. I love the fact how the ultimate weapon is an axe. I'm like, really? That's the
Yeah.
ultimate weapon? An axe? I mean, Jesus. Although I was saying to my partner, if you know this is going to happen and you've got a potential of being picked, wouldn't you have like a little like um supply of like uh, stuff that food that would go off, and you have your like a weapon with you in your little backpack, so you know what you're doing. You can have like some water and the such,
Hmm.
so you've got a slight upper hand. I mean, because they don't search the bags, they just go here, take your bags and run, and they're your personal
Hmm.
belongings bags. That is, then you go here. There's your bag with your supplies and the such, and there's your compass, there's your map, there's a pen,
Hmm.
and here's your rations, and there's your mystery weapon. Anything from a pot,
Hmm.
a lid pot, to
Yeah.
a machine gun that doesn't run out of bullets. I'm like, what the fuck? So you've got shotguns and sickles and
Hmm.
axes and God knows what tasers and
Yeah.
God, lots of revolvers, lots of pistols, lots. I'm like,
Mhm.
wow, and a shotgun that goes from a riot shotgun to a pump action shotgun. I'm like,
Mhm.
wow. So I just love that gun.
Yeah. Varying degrees of weaponry are seen for sure. But yes, our main protagonists, Shuya and uh, Nur Noriko? Yeah, Noriko and Akagawa, they end up with a pot lid and a pair of binoculars,
Yes.
which is so helpful. Well, it turns out the pot lid is pretty helpful because it acts as a shield at one point.
Although it could be
Um,
worse. You could be hit with the bloody megaphone. What the fuck are you supposed to do with a megaphone?
well, you're supposed to scream your location to the entire island
It's
so that they know exactly where to
mm,
point their guns.
mm. All right. There's one quick question that
Mm.
both of us asked. When is this set? Because there's no dates in it at all. It just says the future where Japan's unemployment rate is 33% and rising, and
Uh-huh.
the discipline rate is tumbling. So they want to have stricter rules in school. When is this set? Because the technology is so early noughties. I'm like,
Mhm.
when is this set?
It's kind of supposed to be like near future, and I think really it could be set at any time, and I think it's kind of intentionally designed that way. Um, uh, I know, I think it's in Running Man, they actually specify that it's the year 2019 or something in the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
original movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, which then watching it ahead of 20, like
Mm-hmm.
post 2019, you kind of look at it and go, well, that, yeah. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I think by not assigning a time to it, like I don't even remember. Well, I mean, there is a cell phone, I guess. Kitano has a cell phone that he uses, which is a flip phone. Um, but I mean, even now, flip phones are back.
Mm.
So a few years ago, that would have been dated,
Although
but now everybody has a flip phone.
the laptop that pops up later on in the movie is an old laptop. And I was thinking to
Hmm.
myself, where did the laptop come from? Where did the cell phones, so they managed to get a connection, start a
Hmm.
connection to hack the system? Where did that come from? Where did the cell phones come from? Where did the explosive stuff come from? Where did the food come from? Where did the gas come from? Where did the bullets come
Hmm.
from? Are the guns just instantly reloading? They seem to be firing away. And there's, where are they getting the shells from and the bullets from? And I was like, what the fuck? I mean, another question that both of us asked, what does the winner get? The winner gets freedom. Is that it? He gets freedom
Yeah,
to be an adult and do what he wants
I
as an
guess
adult.
that's it.
And
And trauma for the rest of their lives.
yes, yes, yes. And also, they say that they're tracking them 24/7. Yet there's not one tower on the island. There's like megaphones where they say you're now going to say this is a danger zone, blah blah blah, like C12 or what the hell it was, or A1 in a small arcade. But there's nothing that will tell you where they're scanning the island. So why not just go off the island and sit in the sea? until the 3 days are over. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. What was the other thing that popped into my head here? La 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 la. Are the soldiers former student winners? Because they seem to be very loyal to that one guy. If he isn't the minister, then they seem to be very loyal to him. So are they student winners from previous
I
games?
don't think so. I think it's just the military.
Hmm.
It is a government program, so my assumption is they're just regular military doing what they're
Okay.
told.
Okay then.
Yeah.
And what would happen if the entire class refused to go out? If the whole lot just says, no, we're not going out, what would happen? They're going to kill every one of them. Just going to go, boom, blow all their heads off. I mean,
I mean, I think that they kind of demonstrate that in that they show that when you don't conform, you get your head blown up, quote
mm,
unquote. I think after a number of people get their head blown up by the collars, that would be enough of an incentive for me to participate.
mm, mm,
Just because I'd rather fight for an opportunity to not die rather than just die.
okay.
Although there are people who do choose, I think four people chose to commit suicide
Yes, yes.
because they didn't want to participate. Um,
There's another thing I've got down here. Why have kids? If the kids are so disrespectful, why continue having kids? Why not just stop at that generation and just go, we're not having any more kids because there's so many kids here that are disrespectful. So for each couple, you're allowed to have one kid, and that's your lot. So why continue having
mhm.
kids if the society is crumbling? Then why are they constantly churning out kids after kid after kid? So, mm,
Well, try
um,
telling people they can't have kids or can't have sex.
yeah,
That
that's
won't
true. Oh,
work.
speaking of which, it says here that one thing caught my attention this time. If they're caught having sex, they'll be killed instantly, or because apparently the heart monitor would tell you what you're up to. Because if you're having sex and obviously your heart's got to go boom, 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 so they go and kill you. I'm like, what the hell? So you can't have the final screw? I mean,
Oh, I didn't notice that part.
although the evil girl, the one that picks up all sorts of weapons and is killing girls left and right and centre, she has sex with not one but two guys at the same time and guts one and cuts the other guy's dick off and walks away. What the
Mhm.
fuck? So why wasn't her head blow off? I mean, or throat blow up? I mean, I've already asked that question. Oh yeah, I've got down here. They are literally get the bags thrown at them, and instantly they're killers. Why so fast? I mean, it's like they go outside the building, one gets shot in the throat with a crossbow bolt. I'm like, what the fuck? They're literally
Mhm.
40 seconds at this game and they're starting killing already. What the hell?
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, that would be my plan is as soon as I get outside, find myself a good position, and if I have a good weapon, just start shooting people as they come out.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that's true. Another thing I've got down here: trust no one. The girls on the
Mhm.
hill with megaphones screaming, "Ah, we're going to da da da!" They instantly get killed. I'm like, you fucking
Yeah.
idiots! And also, why is the lead girl and the lead boy trusting this bandana good bad
Right.
guy? I'm like, hello, trust no one. I mean,
hmm I think because they recognize early that he is not necessarily a threat to them because he does spare them.
mm,
And he kind of mentions later on he he kind of sees in them something that was in himself when he was in his game originally with his love interest. Um, it seems very familiar to him, and so I think that's kind of why he latches onto them and wants to help them.
okay, fair enough then. Fair enough then. Although
Yeah,
I love the fact his backstory changes. He tells the lead guy, "Oh, my father's a doctor," and then he tells the lead girl, "My
yeah.
father's a chef." So it's like, hmm.
And at the end of the movie, he says his father is a fisherman.
Oh yes, I forgot to. Yeah, yeah. So it's like,
Yeah,
hmm.
I thought that was funny.
Mm, mm,
Um, yeah. But anyway, yes. So everyone has their backpacks. They've
mm-hmm,
left. There's some mild panic because I think this is the point where very early on we see someone running towards someone with a crossbow and they get killed and or rather they try to kill them and the other person kills them and then
mm,
it's just a cacophony of craziness and Shuya and oh my God, Nariko keep they find each other and they manage to get away at least for the time being and they stay overnight in a cave
mm-hmm,
on the
mm-hmm,
beach. And then in the morning, we hear from the loudspeakers, we hear music blaring, waking everybody up, getting everyone ready, and announcing, the following people have been killed. The following areas are going to be danger
mm-hmm,
zones, at which point Noriko and Shuya realize they have to move.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, by the way,
and so,
I
yeah.
take it the classical music was supposed to juxtapose the quote unquote extreme violence because every single
Mm.
time there's a classical music piece playing, it's almost after extreme violence. So I'm thinking, was that supposed to be the yin yang sort of thing? Like, here's extreme violence, but there's a piece of classical
Mhm.
music. So,
Yeah, that's what I got from it for
mm.
sure.
I always got down here,
Um,
they're dropping like flags. I couldn't keep the names straight. I mean, especially
mhm.
the evil girl. She's just shooting everybody and going, "Oh, you can trust me." No, you can't. Boom. Or she pulls out her
Mhm.
little sickle thing and slits the. I'm like, what the fuck was happening here? I think
Yeah.
she was an it girl or a mean girl, and they all hated her. So she went, "Fuck this! It's now my time to kick ass." And she literally kills about what 8 people. I mean,
She takes a lot of people down. A character's name was Mitsuko. Um,
yes.
she's kind of I guess, almost labeled the class slut.
Hmm.
Um, everybody thinks she's sleeping with everybody's boyfriends, and so nobody trusts her. And kind of the first kind of memorable moment for her was kind of her when she happens upon someone like a naive girl who's hauled up in like a little shack and
Mm-hmm.
she's looking through photographs and Mitsuko comes in and then she shines the torch on her face and it's kind of like the spooky like and you
Mm.
can see that she looks evil in that moment
Mm-hmm.
intentionally. But the naive girl trusts her anyway, even though she's not friends with her clique
Mm.
and whatever.
Yeah.
Mitsuko realizes that she has the taser.
Yes, yes, I call her Taser Girl. I mean, Taser Girl, you fucking
Yeah,
idiot. Why are you handing over your weapon to this clearly evil, deranged bitch? I mean,
absolute sociopath.
yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I say that to my partner at the end when the anime guy and what's her name, Misuko, is that what you called her? I was like,
Mm,
sociopath meets psychopath, and psychopath wins. So,
mhm.
I mean,
Yeah,
although it's proven
it's
right,
crazy.
she is a bit of a slut because she sleeps with both boys and then kills the both of them. So maybe
Hmm.
she was the class slut. I mean,
Very much so.
because isn't it a bit where
Absolutely.
one of her so-called clique pulls a gun on her and says, "You stole my boyfriend," and goes to shoot her, and she pulls out
Mm.
the sickle thing and throws it at her. I'm like, shoot her.
Yep.
Just shoot the bitch. I mean, it's kill or
Yeah.
be killed. Why are you talking? Just blow her fucking head off and go, moving on. Because she talks about,
Yeah.
oh, it couldn't have been Taser Girl's tampon because I checked her and she wasn't on her periods, but it's your
Mhm.
tampon, so you killed her, you murderous bitch. I'm going, it's kill or be killed. Hello.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. The movie, it brings out, I guess it brings out the best and the worst in people.
mm,
And it just kind of puts everything into this. It's like a social experiment. Like if you put everybody into this small enclosed space, you up the stress level. Like what will people do in those moments?
mm-hmm,
Some people, 4 people chose to kill themselves. Some people chose to go about continuing their everyday kind of way of doing things. For example, the character of Chigusa, played by is it Chiaki Koriyama, who is most notably from Kill Bill. She played Go-Go. She is a runner,
Mm.
and a mini subplot about
Oh
her
my god.
running and the guy timing her.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so she's trying to go about her day to day. And then you have other characters who just they're like flat out, we don't want violence. We think in this kind of thing everyone should band together. So we're gonna stand here with our megaphone
Mm.
and
Mm.
try and, but obviously there are those that would rather just fight their way out.
Mm.
And so there's just so many different ways of, you know, responding in that situation, and it really shows it in a very like heightened
Hmm.
kind of
It's
sense.
interesting you brought up the Kill Bill girl because I've got her down here as yellow tracksuit girl. Is that a nod to Bruce Lee and Kill Bill? Obviously, Kill Bill was after this. Then you say she's because I knew
But
one of them was in Kill Bill, but I thought it was the lead girl, but I got it wrong.
no,
So
yeah, it's possible it was a nod. I haven't seen anything that specifically says that, but I mean, very well could be. In Kill Bill, it was the yellow tracksuit was very intentionally a nod
yes,
to Kill Bill, Bruce
yes, to
Lee,
Bruce Lee,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
what was that? Was it Enter the Dragon or something Dragon?
Mm.
No, I can't remember what the name of the movie was,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. It's a
there are
famous
like
movie.
four floors of big bosses or whatever. But yes, another piece of trivia. This is one of Quentin Tarantino's favorite
Yes,
movies.
yes, yes.
And one of the reasons Gogo's character kind of mirrors Chigusa in the movie because Chigusa, when she's attacked, and really the guy is, let's call it what it is. He wants to rape her. He wants to
Hmm.
force himself upon her. So her response is to
Cut his
get
dick
on top
off.
of him and stab him in the penis,
Yes,
right
yes.
in the crotch, which is exactly what Gogo's character did when she was in. They show a flashback of her character in Kill Bill, where, she's hanging out with this weird, dorky businessman who's obviously got a thing for younger girls,
Hmm.
and she fucking stabs him right in the dick. And she's like, this is me, I'm penetrating you
Yeah,
instead, or something
yeah,
along those
yeah.
lines. Um, so that, he picked her, I think specifically because of that moment and how it made sense
Mm,
for
mm, hmm,
Kill
hmm.
Bill.
Yeah, true, true. Although I will say the bit where her wannabe boyfriend, because there's a drop line saying like, "You spread rumors about me." And none of it was
Mhm.
true, and he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." I was like, "I just opened my mouth and spread rumors." So take it. They went on a date, nothing happened. The next day at school, you went, "Oh, I done this, and that," and she was
Mhm.
labelled a bit of a loose, no, a bit of a slut. So,
Mhm.
and then he wants to go, but we'll both die as virgins. And I was like,
Mhm.
"You're a piece of shit, mate. I hope you get something bad happen to you." And what happens? Because his dick lumped off and gutted. And I was like, "Wow." Although one thing I want to know is what is with these dreams? There's every other
Mhm.
scene. There's a dream, like the tracksuit girl. She gets shot in the back. Somehow, even though it missed, and she's dying.
Mhm.
She's at the dam, and this guy comes out of nowhere, and she just dies in his arms. I'm like, was that a dream? Was that an
Mhm.
hallucination? What?
So the guy on the bicycle, he is part of, which, I mean, this happens much later in the plot. He's part of a group that is trying to hack the system
Mm,
and fight the system in a sense. They're building um, explosives to uh, blow up the main administrative building or whatever you want to call
mm,
it.
mm, mm.
And they're the ones that ultimately hack into the callers and like get the system down for
Yeah,
a moment
yeah,
and
yeah.
da 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 da. But he's the one that actually goes out because he says, I need to find Chigusa, his girl.
So that
And
wasn't a
he,
dream then. I just assumed that was a dream. I just assumed.
no, that was real.
Okay, then.
But
Right.
she kind of has that moment, and there's quite a few of these, especially in the director's cut, where you have their kind of thoughts being like played on screen, and it's like she says something along the lines of, "Please God, let me say one more thing," and she's like, "I think you're really cool," and then dies.
It's all very melodramatic. I was thinking, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
this was banned in 5 countries for being too
Hmm.
violent. I'm going, whew, it's melodramatic. It is hilarious because some of the kills are just ridiculous, especially the anime guy just blows people apart with a machine gun. I was like, God, you're a dick.
Hmm.
I mean, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Um, but yes, I'm just seeing where I was in the plot here. Yes, we do learn. So the two characters who were brought in, which was Kawada, which is the kind of the hero bad guy, and then we have the anime villain, which is Kiriyama, as
Mm-hmm.
he's referred to. He's the one with the big hair.
Mm.
Um, Eventually Shuya and oh my God, Noriko come across him and he spares them, and they kind of join up with him, and he kind of helps them out. I think Noriko has been injured. I think there's like a cut or something on
On her arm.
her leg, I want to
No,
say.
that's
I don't
that's her
remember.
arm.
On her arm.
Yeah.
So they find a place that has some pharmaceutical supplies. That's where he's like, "Oh yeah, my dad was a doctor." I mean,
Mm.
his dad was many things by the sounds of it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which I guess is just a funny part of the story. But they hold up in there, and then obviously they're found eventually by Kiriyama, who, you know, the place gets blown apart, and that's where they kind of separate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when Shuya awakens, he is injured, but he's inside a lighthouse,
Oh, that's right. Right. Very
which
quickly.
is,
I'll sorry to interrupt
yeah,
constantly here, but was he molested by the girl that changed his bandage? Because she talks about how you're the first boy I've ever touched, and she goes and giggles and laughs and stuff. So did she play about with him?
no,
Mm,
no.
I don't know, because the way she is acting all coy, and I'm thinking I've seen a lot of Chinese and Japanese documentaries, and they usually say that if they're all acting like that, then they've done something extremely wrong. So did she molest him in his sleep? Did she play about with him? Because, then they'll talk about how, oh, he's so pretty, so handsome, you're so lucky. Because I was like,
Hmm.
did she?
I mean, it's, I guess it's possible. I would say it's likely not the case. I think generally they're they would be more reserved about that kind of thing. And so I think it's more a case of because he's still wearing pants. It's more a case of, touching his like naked chest and his arm,
Okay then.
and it would be for someone like that, it's going to be very like, ooh,
Okay
ooh,
then. Okay.
taboo.
Fair enough then. Fair enough.
But yes, he. Do you have another question
Yeah.
about that?
No, 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 no. The one question that would burn in my head is this always the same island? Because the good bad boy talks about how him and his girlfriend was on another island. So is it always the same island, or is it different islands picked every year?
My assumption is it's different islands because they mention early in the movie that um they've moved everybody off the island
Mm-hmm.
for the purposes of this. So my assumption is that it's a different place every time.
Okay. Then.
But yes, so Shuya awakens. There's a girl. All the girls seem to really love Shuya.
Mm.
So she's bandaged him. She's kind of like, "Ooh, I touched you," and "Oh, it's so ooh." Um, and then she goes downstairs. She locks him in the room, and she says the reason for this is I can't remember the name of the
Oh,
girl.
yes, I was
I
going to
want to
bring
say
up.
Yuko maybe or something. They lock him in because earlier, Shuya accidentally kills someone who's trying to kill him.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring
And
up.
this
Yeah.
girl is hidden away and sees that, and she thinks that he's killed him,
Mm-hmm.
and she's afraid of him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so there's all these girls now, and they're all kind of like gathered together in this kitchen area of the lighthouse. And one of them is kind of making this soup or stew or whatever.
Yeah.
They're chatting, they're doing normal girl stuff,
Yeah,
and
with
together, like one big
pasta
clique.
mixed with some sort of broth. I'm like, what the hell? Why have you got spaghetti with some sort of broth and one of them gets
I
a
I
little
assume it's
vial
just
of,
like ramen.
I suppose. One gets a little vial of poison. I'm like, that was your weapon, a wee dinky vial of poison.
Yeah. So the little scared one who saw what happened, her weapon apparently was this small bottle of poison of
Yeah,
some description.
yeah.
I assume maybe like a rat poison or whatever. And while no one's looking, um, she puts this poison into a bowl of the soup that
Mm-hmm.
she believes is being sent up to Shuya. But what happens next is a girl comes back in. She's been out for a run or whatever, and she starts chattering. She's like, "Oh my God, the soup!" And she takes the soup and she takes a bite and she's like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. This is the best soup I've ever had." And then they're all chatting. She continues eating her soup, and then all of a sudden she starts coughing up blood
Mm-hmm.
and she fucking dies. And that's when everyone's like, "Well, who fucking did this?
Yes, and this
Who?"
is
And
where,
then they start blaming each other,
yeah,
and that's where their whole clique falls apart. The
yeah,
seed of dissent has been sown, and no one knows what's going on. And of course, little shy girl who actually did it just stays hidden away.
yeah, and this is where myself and my partner were howling with laughter at this ridiculous. As she's got the machine gun, she's got, and she's shoot them all, and I'm going, what? Then they pull out little handguns
Yeah,
and start. I'm like, what is this? This is ridiculous, and I couldn't move for laughing. As she's under the table
yeah,
going, don't shoot me, no. I'm like, you bitch, you started this whole thing, and you wouldn't go.
yeah,
It was my fault. I tried to poison the guy upstairs because he killed my boyfriend or wannabe boyfriend, so I want
yeah.
revenge. And she just, then they go, oh my god, you shot me in the hand, I'm bleeding. I'm like, oh dear god, this is ridiculous. So yeah, again, why was this banned in, I think it was 4 or 5 different countries, including Germany, Australia, Britain, and parts of America?
It was more so because of the age of the characters. Um, I will say most of the actors in the movie, there were, so they originally had auditioned 8,000
Mm.
for the movie and narrowed it down to 42. Um,
And
like they had to go through some kind of physical testing or whatever, which helped narrow them down to the final 42. And of those 42, I believe four or five were between the ages of 14 and 16.
mm,
The rest had completed post-secondary, and the eldest were actually the two villains or exchange students
mm.
who were 25. So everybody was still fairly young.
I
Uh,
thought the lead was 21. The lead male, that is. He was 21.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Noriko was around 15, 16.
Oh.
So she was very young.
Hmm.
But yeah, and particularly in the US, when this was eventually screened there, because it never had like a true release, probably for about 11 years,
Mm.
because it had screened it. They did test screenings and festival screenings and stuff, but it was so close to the Columbine
Mm-hmm.
situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, People thought it was in poor taste. But I mean, again, not to get political, but when is it not poor taste? At this point,
Mm.
there's a shooting in America every week
Exactly.
or more.
See, I can
So,
understand it more in Britain because it was only 4 years after Dunblane when the guns were
yeah.
banned. I understand when Britain's
Mhm.
like, nope, we can't show kids gunning other kids
Mhm.
down for some sick ministry or minister.
Yeah.
So no, but I can understand. But in America, yeah, I get the kids were killed and I get it was for this and that and next thing and Matrix and this and that, da da da. But really, I mean, why not
Mhm.
just do what it did in America? Sorry, in Britain, I just ban machine guns. I mean, you don't have to ban all guns. You can just ban the machine guns and just have the pistols and the the shotguns, not the pump action or not the multi, just the double barrel shotguns that they have in
Yeah.
Britain. you still have your precious guns. I mean, for crying out loud.
Yeah, that's a story for another podcast, I
Mm, mm,
think.
mm.
Um, but yes, so obviously all the girls kill themselves. As the one is dying, she, remarks quite poignantly, we perhaps could have all got out alive. Like we could have survived. We could have made it together or whatever, which was the initial intent. But again, in this heightened situation, you know, it pushes people to their
Mm.
limits. And, in this one instance, they know that somebody in that room planted the poison.
Didn't
So
it say
that
the
they just turn on each
yeah,
other.
yeah? Didn't it say the one with the really thick glasses hadn't slept in 3 days because she hadn't had her sleeping pills because she doesn't trust any of the girls in that room. So I'm like,
Yeah,
why are you hanging around with them then? Leave. Is it because there's
yeah,
power in numbers? I mean, is that why you're stuck there? Because
I guess
also,
so.
didn't it say that it has to be done till there was one left, which is why
Yeah.
um oh my god, I forgot his name now. The sort of good bad boy shot his
Hmm.
girlfriend and killed her because they were their calls were going and he had to kill her or she was going to kill him because if not, the both were going to be killed. So that whole bit where we just stay here until
Hmm.
no, because she was 8 or 9 and that.
Well, they had got word that I can't remember the name of the character. The techie one had come up with a plan,
Oh, I see.
uh, which was, he was hacking and
Mm.
he did the whole, he was doing the explosive truck thing situation. Um, and so I think they were kind of counting on that. Um, but yeah.
Mm.
Um, so anyway, after they all kill each other, the little girl comes out of hiding and goes to let Shuya
Mm.
out, and she feels responsible, rightly so,
Yes.
for the deaths of everyone downstairs. And as Shuya goes down to see the scene down there and realizes she's not there, she's already jumped
Mm-hmm.
from the lighthouse and
Yeah.
killed
Yeah,
herself.
that annoyed me. I was going. So this. What would you call the lead actor again? Sorry, I'm terrible with names.
Shuya.
Shuya goes downstairs. He's perfectly fine. Runs up the top of the lighthouse. Looks over the side, and he goes, "Oh my god, she's dead." And then he goes back down, picks up all the guns, and then he goes, "Oh, my injuries! Ow, the pain!" He has to hobble around the rest of the movie with a stick. I'm going, but you're running up down the bloody stairs. So how does that one work?
I'm gonna say
Oh
adrenaline.
well, fair enough then.
I don't know.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So after this moment is when he makes his way, and I believe that's when he, eventually catches up with uh, Noriko, and Kawada is the name of the
Yes.
not so villain.
Yeah, the good bad
Um,
boy.
yeah, they're kind of in the middle of the forest or jungle, as it seems.
Mm.
Seems very jungle-like, very tropical. It's pouring with rain.
Mm-hmm.
That's this point. Noriko um, is attacked, I think, by.
Yeah, the
Is that by
sociopath.
Mitsuko?
Yeah, the sociopath girl.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Oh, by the way, she changes her outfit at least 3 times in this movie, and I was like, where are you getting the clothes from? Because she has a school uniform, she has that little slut outfit she was wearing. Then she changes back to another outfit after she seduces the 2 guys she killed after having sex with
mhm,
them. I'm like, where'd you get these outfits from? I mean,
mhm,
Jesus. Uh, yeah, like I say, is, oh, you forgot to mention the fact that um, the good bad guy finds food. Just like that, he finds like wild rice, he finds wild mushrooms
mhm.
and toadstools and various other things. I'm like, you just seem to have to find us food just like that. I'm like, wow. And she eats it. I'm going, hmm. What was he
It's
doing? By
very
the way,
interesting.
he was like slicing up thin pieces of wood. Was he trying to make like kebab skewers for the food, or were they supposed to be
Yeah,
weapons?
possibly. Or for the fire, I'm not sure
Mm.
100%.
Because this
But
is
yes, so Mitsuko, attacks her, I believe. And
Oh yeah.
that's when Tano comes along
Hmm.
and does he kill her?
No, no. She says, "Oh, you've got two princes protecting because you're such a princess. You're such a bitch. Maybe you should just die." And she pulls out her handgun, and then the teacher
Yes.
comes down and gives her the umbrella as the wannabe boyfriend is lying there, half dying
Right.
because he's got all the guns from the girls. You see, so yeah. And then she buggers off and finds one of the other girls that's killed her boyfriend with the handgun. And why did you kill me? I'm like, love, you shot him about 52 times. What the fuck? And he goes, I love you. You better run because there's gunfire. And that's when she, psycho chick, finds her and just kills her. Then
Hmm.
the psychotic anime guy comes down and kills her. I'm like,
Yes, that's right.
wow.
She could only be taken out
Mm,
by the ultimate villain of the movie,
yes, the bigger
which I
bad.
think is
Yeah.
very cool. But I think one of the things about Mitsuko as well, and again, I can't remember how prominent this is in the theatrical version, but you get a lot of her backstory in through flashbacks or the Requiem pieces, where you learn that as a child, um, at least in one instance, there was, her mother, it seems, may have been a drunk, uh, perhaps an addict of some
Mm,
kind. And there was a man in the house who is referred to as an uncle, possibly as an uncle. I, my assumption, although it's not spelled out, is perhaps this man paid to molest her
mm,
or, um, gave her mother drugs or whatever and the payment was the molestation. Um, it's never explicitly shown that she is molested, but I think we can assume that there was other events where she was. And the uncle, quote unquote uncle, um, plays with her and, takes the clothes from a doll and's like, the dolly's naked. Now it's your turn.
mm.
And she fights back and she pushes him down a flight of stairs and kills him. And so that's just kind of there to help you understand, I guess, where her nature kind of came from and the kind of person
Mm.
that why she is the way that she is, I suppose. It's due
No,
to
this is not
trauma.
not in the version I saw. Basically, the version I saw concentrated more on the lead, where she's been bullied and trapped in the toilet and called ugly and stuff like that. So
Right.
the trap in the
That
toilet
was,
spill, the
yeah.
chairs and such, and I was like, okay then. And
But yeah, Mitsuko, the evil girl, yeah, she was molested.
okay
Um,
then.
it's implied that she's been molested and at one point fights back.
Mm.
And then at this point, they're hoping to meet up with these
Yeah, the
guys.
hackers. Yeah.
I'm just looking at my notes now. Mimura is the name of the main hacker who's found a way to kind of infiltrate the system. He hacks into it, shuts it down
Hmm.
briefly. So, Kitano tells them they need to manually reset it or whatever. And their plan is they've created this homemade bomb. He tells his friends at one point, on the computer, you need to find
Hmm.
fertilizer, like all of these like random things. And I'm
Hmm.
like, these just don't seem like objects it would be easy for a person to necessarily find.
Mm.
But here we are. So they put together this bomb on this truck, and the plan is to obviously bomb the military establishment,
Yes.
whatever.
Yes. See,
But
this is what I was getting. This is a rip-off of Running Man and Death Race 2000 without the cars, because in the end, spoiler alert, at the end of Death Race 2000, the winner uses his car to kill the president, and
mm,
that's why I assumed the teacher was now the minister in charge of the Battle Royale
mm,
program. Therefore, the car blowing up would what kill the minister, but not kill the program. So,
right.
although one thing I want to know is why was the the computer screen in English and not Japanese. They're sitting typing away and it's in English. I'm like, why is that not in?
I I think because it's coding, that's kind of, uh, at least from my very limited understanding, is
You know,
English based. But and a lot of I believe that in Japan they do teach English as well. So there are a lot of Japanese folks who will have a very basic understanding of the English language.
get it.
Um, but that's my assumption because that's also something I thought about when I was watching it. Yeah.
Get
But
it. Okay, that's enough. The one thing,
obviously they don't get to do their plan
yes, because the
because
anime guy comes in,
along come
just shoots them all.
yeah, kills them all, blows it all up, um, and is at that point, I believe he is blinded by
By the explosion, yeah.
by the explosion or glass in his eye. I can't
Oh,
remember
by the way,
exactly, but
it's dropped early on in the movie that he actually volunteered. This is now his fourth time doing this. So
Mhm,
he is a complete psychopath and he just loves killing for the sake of killing. I mean,
mhm.
wow. Wow.
Yeah, I can see it. They, they want the kill count to be a lot. They want
Mm,
to,
mm.
yeah, I don't know. They just want to make things more interesting and entertaining, I guess. And
See,
that's a kind of an element that isn't clear is the whole thing televised? Because at the beginning of the movie, we do see there is a news report where they're like, "Oh, the winner's appearing. It's a girl. The winner is a girl."
she's smiling.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, like the Hunger Games is fully
hmm
televised,
hmm
where people can watch it and they get enjoyment from it. In this case, I don't know that it's actually fully televised because there are no cameras
No,
on the island.
that's one thing that my partner says. Where's the cameras? Unless the bomb itself has a camera inside of it, which I doubt, because there is a microphone inside
Mhm.
this. Because they figure out, the hacker figures out, oh my god, there's
Yes.
microphones in this. So is there also
Yeah.
a camera? I mean,
It's possible. I don't think it's addressed. I don't know if it's addressed in the second movie either. I don't remember. I've only seen it once. But to my knowledge, it's not a televised event like it would be in like the Hunger Games.
hmm hmm
Uh, but yes, the Kiriyama is blinded, which ultimately is what helps them to finally get him out of the picture.
hmm
And this is where we come to the end of the game, essentially the next morning. And it would appear that our good villain, Kawada, kills Shuya and
yes,
Mariko. And they, at the building, the administration building, whatever you want to call it, they're like, oh, we should like confirm or whatever.
hmm
And that's when Kitano is like, no, 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 no. It's over. It's done.
hmm
Let's get out of here. We're finished.
yeah. This is why I
So,
assumed he was the minister of the Battle Royale because the entire army just buggers off. I was like, wouldn't you have at least one or two um,
mhm,
soldiers or bodyguards? Because why would you have this one guy alone
yeah,
unless he knew for a fact that he was going to get killed? Because he is such a bastard to his child on the phone, and he's such an absolute a control freak to the soldiers around him.
yeah.
Maybe he wanted and knew he was going to be killed. So,
I think ultimately that's what it comes down to because he had that affection for Noriko, and I do think it is more intentionally supposed to be that she is more of the daughter he wishes he had, kind of thing.
yes, yes.
And that by her dying, it's kind of like, well, what's the point? He
Mm,
wanted her to ultimately win by proving that being a good person and being respectful and nice to people would ultimately let her be the survivor. Um, but in from his perspective in this case, she's dead, so he might as well just sit there and wait for whatever comes his way. And of course, that's when the three of them walk through the door,
Mm-hmm.
Shuya, Noriko, and Kawada. And that's when he realizes she's still alive, obviously. And that Kawada, has known all along how to remove the collar. It's alluded to the fact that he was responsible for a breach of their systems prior to the events in the
Mm.
movie, where he would have found that information. Um, which That's the only point in the movie where that's kind of mentioned, which I thought was really interesting because that type of information I feel like normally in a movie you would get early on and it would come back, but it was just kind of an offhand comment, kind of in those last moments.
Mm.
Um, and yes, there's conversation or whatever, and ultimately, well, well, uh, Kawada is wounded, and Kitano kind of, I believe he reveals like this painting that he's been working on this
Yeah,
whole time.
creepy ass painting. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
On this big hill, all the kids are dead in
Mm.
a variety of different creative ways. And standing in the center, the victor
Mm-hmm.
is Noriko, um, which was his hope that she would survive and, whatever. And then ultimately he is shot
Mm-hmm.
and killed, but not he's not quite dead because his phone rings. Because something I haven't really talked about is throughout the movie, he kind of takes these phone calls from his daughter, and she's very disrespectful and rude to him. They obviously have a very difficult relationship. But he takes another phone call, and it's his daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of hangs up on her mid yelling and just realizes there are no cookies left because he's been eating these cookies, not letting anybody else have them.
Mm.
Noriko made these, they're for him. There's no cookies left, so. And then he dies.
Yeah, I love the fact how he just throws the phone half across the room and just shoots the phone with one shot. And I'm like, wow, you're a crack shot then. He just
Yeah,
throws the and boom, away. That was it. I'm like, God. And I love
yeah.
the fact how he says to the lead girl, go ahead, shoot me, prove me wrong, prove me that good can be corrupted, it can be switched on its head. Shoot me, and she's about to
Mhm.
shoot him, and the other guy just goes and blows him apart with the Uzi.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I do
okay,
like that Kitano is like holding a gun in their face, but it turns out it's
it's
just
a
a water
yeah, it's a
pistol.
squirt gun. Yeah, I'm like, okay then. And then he pulls another gun from somewhere, and it's a real gun. I'm like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? So then he dies. They go onto a boat, which is from somewhere, and they sail off,
Hmm.
and the good bad guy dies on the boat, saying, "Oh my, I never know what my girlfriend meant when she was smiling because she's now free, or he's now free because
Hmm.
they don't have the whole growing old and going as an adult. They're still young." So, and then
Hmm.
the other two go back to the mainland, and they're wanted for multiple murders. I'm like, what the fuck? So,
Yeah, they become, at the end of the movie, you see Shuya and Noriko. They're very incognito. They're in their zipped up hoodies, trying to remain
mm,
below the radar. She brings the knife
mm-hmm,
that Nobu has stabbed Kitano with so that they have a weapon. And you see them kind of heading towards Shibuya Station, which is a main kind of station line, so that they can disappear basically, because as we see on like a big billboard type thing, they're both wanted for murder
mm,
because from what it appears, they've not only killed Kitano, but obviously everybody else is dead. And I mean, that's neither here nor there. But they've essentially broken the system in this case because they both got away.
mm-hmm,
And so, by, I guess, the rules of the Battle Royale, they are in fact they're murderers and they shouldn't be allowed to be away. They
mm-hmm,
broke the whole system, which is not good because that sends the wrong message, just as it does in the Hunger Games, I
mm,
suppose, where two of them get out, they break the rules, and in future movies you see them, they have to maintain this level of like Katniss and Peeta or whatever the fuck his name is. They have to maintain this charade that they're a couple,
Mm.
otherwise the whole thing breaks apart.
Even though they can't stand each other, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, oh
Yeah.
God. So yeah.
And then the movie, the sequel to Battle Royale, which is Battle Royale 2 Requiem, is where they return. Shuya becomes kind of leads a resistance against the Battle Royale.
Mm.
Um, and so that's yeah. But essentially that is the movie from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Probably missed out on a few bits and pieces here and there, but yeah.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts?
I've got to say, this is now the third time I've watched this. Oh, by the way, there was a. I remember when I was in college, there was they showed this on some TV channel, and the
Mm,
debate was the only active caller the one that was on the guy that stabbed the teacher. The rest of them were all
mm.
fake bombs, just to get him to kill people. So that was the debate they had. I was thinking, was that fact? Was it just revenge? The whole point of I'm going to get you. That's why he kills him specifically. So
Possibly.
because the other one, he kills the girl with the knife to the head. And he goes, "Oops,
Mm,
I'm not supposed to kill these people. Silly me." And the other guy's got
mhm,
his throat blew up. So, mm.
mhm.
But like I says, to me, this is the third time I've watched this thing, and this is a complete and utter mess of a movie. It just goes from like killing to killing to killing to over romanticized stuff to what the fuck's happening? There's a dream out of nowhere. And then there's like, which I assumed was fantasies, but apparently it's not. Apparently they were made because I had no idea who the hell these people were because they were dropping like flies. I'm like, who's that? Oh, no, they're dead. Who's that person? Oh, they're dead. Who cares? Oh, there's the psycho
Mhm,
chick. Did it? And the only person I got was the anime guy, the psychotic chick. The two
mhm,
heroes and the good bad guy. The rest of them I had no idea, and didn't pick any of their names up. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? So
mhm,
maybe it's just me, but I think this is a complete utter mess of a movie, and the way it just crumbles at the end, I'm like, what
mhm,
the hell? So the good bad guy was a plant because he knew to get the calls off right away. So
mhm,
he the teacher who I thought was the minister of the whole thing was in
mhm,
love with who I assumed was another one of his daughters. But nope,
mhm,
she's just a pupil he thinks. Also, while I'm at it, the main lead, the guy, his father kills himself by autoerotic asphyxiation and has
mhm,
the title of all the run da 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 da. Did the teacher
mhm.
kill him? Because that's exactly what he says to the lead girl. Run sort of stuff and da 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 or what the hell it was. So did he kill his father?
I don't believe so. Again, I don't know the extent. I can't remember the extent to what backstory was included in the theatrical release, but in but there's scenes where you can see that his father is very kind of depressed.
Mm-hmm.
He's lost his job and he has no money and all of this stuff. And so his suicide is not a surprise.
Mm.
Um, I mean, it, I don't. I think it's more prevalent in Japan. I don't quote me on that, but I believe this type of suicide is more prevalent in Japan because they've kind of it's a shameful thing that they've done or whatever the case may be. And yeah, I don't believe that he was murdered.
Hmm. Okay, fair enough then. Fair enough then. Like I said, to me, this movie is a complete mess. It just goes from killing scene to killing scene to killing scene, then a romance scene, then a killing scene. Then they've got some dream backstory, and then there's
Mhm,
killing scene, and then you're like, what was the point in this movie? Nothing. And something a partner says, he goes, "Why was this banned in so many countries? This is so boring." nothing other than cheap splatter. And I guess that's because it's 25 years later, and we have things like Terrifier, where a woman gets sawed in half. I mean,
Mhm.
we've got Saw, where people are bloody sawed in half with blood saws and such. We've got like pick a torture
Mhm.
porn movie. So we're so desensitized. But think about it,
Yeah.
25 years ago, this thing would have been up there with the, oh my god, with the bandits. We can't show teenagers running around shooting people with guns and poisoning people and throwing grenades left. Oh, but I sort of loved about it. The anime guy kills the guy on the bike and cuts his head off and shoves a grenade in his mouth and throws it in and blows up the clinic,
Mhm.
which made me laugh. I was like, that is ridiculous. I mean,
Mhm.
he also he goes, "Oh my god, don't shoot me!" As he shoots the guy, steals his bulletproof vest, and he has a samurai sword
Yeah.
and cuts his whatever the hell it is to that guy. I'm like, wow, you are such an anime villain. So,
Mhm.
I mean, it's like, dear God, and I love the fact how um, the sociopathic chick slashes him with her little sickle, and he goes, "Ha,
Mhm.
bulletproof vest." And no, that would have went right through that because A, it's been shot at
Mhm.
multiple times, and B, it doesn't stop
Yeah.
slashing; it stops bullets. So,
Mhm.
do anyway. So,
Yeah.
what about yourself?
Yeah. I disagree with you. Um, I think you're right in the sense that we have become desensitized, definitely. And I mean, prior to this, there are definitely gory movies for sure,
Mm-hmm.
but the subject matter, in a nutshell, is school-aged children, middle school-aged children killing each other, which is kind of a bad thing. But
Mm.
it's a very bad thing. And when you look at it outside of Japan, just with the closeness to Columbine, and because that was really one of the first, I don't, I don't know if it's the first, but for myself and my generation, I guess it was kind of the first um, worldwide kind of, oh my God, can't believe something like this has happened.
And I
Um,
would argue
on a gl
Dunblane, 4 years or
well,
3 years
yes,
earlier. So,
but I mean, obviously that was a big deal. But I think in terms of like a worldwide reaction, um, Columbine had a huge impact because that was essentially a school children killing school children.
yeah, that's
Um,
true. Yeah, yes, yes.
and not that it not that it made any difference in the US, nothing really changed, but
Mm.
it's also that we're also pre 9/11 at this point.
Yes, yes.
And I think that was kind of the turning point, really, where I, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Like all the innocence maybe that we had or whatever kind of goes out the window
Mm.
when the entire world is watching as this huge event, terrible
Yeah,
terrorist
unfolds
attack
live
happens
on television.
live,
Yeah, yeah.
24 hours, like 7 days a week for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody saw those towers coming down
Mm-hmm.
day after day after day from different angles, from people's cell phones. Like it was terrible. And I think anyone that was at a certain point in their life where that was kind of a defining moment, even
Mm-hmm.
if you weren't living in the US. It was a defining moment. I remember coming home from school that day. It was on the television, and it didn't stop being on our television for days.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that's kind of where everything went to shit for my generation at least. And everything's out the window, no holds barred.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can slice people in half on television
Mm.
because we can watch people fall jumping
But yes,
from
yes,
a tower
yes.
building to their death because they feel like that's their only option. And so pre that, we kind of live in a state we lived in a state of
Relative. No,
imagined.
well, I don't know. They say what the 90s was a time of relative peace. There wasn't any major wars. There was a few skirmishes here and
Yeah,
there, and
you
all of a
started
sudden,
off with what, the Berlin Wall coming down,
yes,
everything's peachy keen. There's n there's nothing monumentally awful that happened.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Our biggest concern was the Millennium Bug.
yes, yes. Our biggest concern was Nintendo versus Sega. You know?
Exactly. There was nothing quite like that up until that point.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, and I mean, I'm speaking as someone who didn't grow up through, Korean War, Vietnam War, every other war that we've
Yes,
experienced.
yes.
So for my generation in particular, like that was kind of that defining moment. And I think prior to that, this kind of situation, like pre-Columbine, pre-9/11, it was awful. It was a terrifying thing to imagine giving 14, 15-year-old children weapons and forcing them to kill each other,
Mhm,
kill or be killed.
mhm.
Um, and so that's what made this movie, for its time, um, controversial, but also kind of groundbreaking. And like Tarantino said, one of his favorite movies of all time,
Mm.
which is, I love Tarantino. I think that's high praise. Um, and I just think it really goes to show, fuck, what was I saying? Um,
Tarantino.
Tarantino, oh fuck, it's gone. Holy moly. I just think for its time, it was a great movie. When you look at it through the lens of, we've been through weekly shootings,
Mm.
being shown to us on TV, more so in the United States. That's probably, well, I mean, I don't know how televised it is in the US anymore, but for the rest of us, it's kind of become commonplace. Oh,
Mm.
there's been another shooting in the US. Okay. Like it's at a point now where it doesn't we have zero reaction to it.
Yeah. I mean, dare I say it?
Not living in the
Dare I
US.
say it? It was like the 80s when there's an IRA attack. Oh, there's another IRA
Right.
attack. Another car bomb. There's another nail bomb. There was
Right.
another whatever it was bomb. It's getting like that. I mean, so this has to stop, or at least be bottlenecked. I mean, as it
Right.
says, how hard is it to ban machine guns? You can have your pistols, you can have your shotguns, you can have your rifles, but do you have to have a gun that fires 300 bullets in a matter of seconds?
Right.
I
And
mean,
it's all, again, it's we could probably go from for hours and have political discussions about the US and the Constitution, or their quote unquote constitutional right to bear arms, which is very ambiguous.
mm,
In the context of that, there is much more to that specific part of the Constitution that kind of makes you realize exactly what they're talking about, and it's not, anyway, that's beside the point. But yes, we are at a point where, for especially, I can only speak as someone who does not live in the US, that when you hear about it, it's like, oh, another one, oh, another one. And so those kinds of things are not shocking. And
mm,
so a movie now, horror movies that contain gore and like extreme violence, they have to be so extreme to elicit a reaction,
mm-hmm,
that I think that's why now we more movies that are more have more supernatural elements to them are almost more scary, because that's more about fear of the unknown
yes,
versus
yes.
gore and violence, which we can turn on the news and watch that whenever we want.
Yeah, the haunted house is
Now,
back in vogue.
The Haunted House is back.
Yeah,
The Conjuring,
yes,
all of those
yes,
movies are uber successful. Not one of them is gory.
exactly, yeah, yeah.
They all play on the psychological elements, and those are the things that are working in movies now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that, I mean, that's not specifically related to this, but I just thought it was an interesting point to make. But yes, to summarize, you, I know you don't love this movie. I do love this movie. I watch it probably once a year. You know, is it as mind-blowing or whatever as maybe when I initially watched it? No. But I think the message that it puts across in terms of like the what people will do under those heightened kind of circumstances
Mm-hmm.
um, is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
would I watch it again? Yes. Would I recommend it? Always.
Mm. Let me see. So for me, would I watch this again? No. I think 3 times is enough. Would I recommend it? I don't know. I mean, yes, it's a classic. Um, it's a must see of a certain J
Yeah.
horror, so to speak. But
Yeah.
would I recommend it? I don't know. I mean, it's not up my alley at all. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess it's what it is and why it was made and such, but and it sparked off the Hunger Games and various other rip-offs. Did I see it? But I don't know. Would I recommend this? Eh, I don't know.
Well, I am content to have got you to an eh. Okay. You are difficult to please.
Yes, yes.
I feel sorry for your partner.
Very dare you. Anyway, so let's wrap this up then. So you can follow us on Instagram at Midnight Movie Mania Pod. I've got a bloody name of the Instagram there. You can follow me on Here's Johnny 79, and you can follow Alex at
Mr. Alexander watches.
Okay then. Now we are cracking into 2026 with
Good gravy.
yes, I know. Oh my God, 2026 with what I'm calling January blues. Because it's movies that will cheer us up. Now, unfortunately, I have done all of the movies that cheer me up, apart from one. I've already covered the Blues Brothers, and I covered Elvira with Spike.
Mhm.
So, I'm going to do my third choice, my all-time favourite B movie, House on Haunted Hill, 1959, with the great Vincent Price.
Love it.
And Alex is going to do, as he's not telling me, this fine.
Yes, I have decided I had a difficult decision to make because I had a few things that I was thinking about. And when I say the name of the movie, you're probably not going to think, oh, that's a movie that cheers me up. Mysterious Skin, which was an independent movie starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt and the late, great Michelle Trachtenberg, R.I.P. I'll get into my reasonings behind it. They're not important right now, but at some point in January, you'll hear all about it.
Okay then. Okay then. And on the 1st of January, I'm putting out a post that will be pinned to the entirety, the wall for the whole year, I might say. What movies do you want us to cover? So under that post, put down what you want us to cover, and we shall cover them. So write your little brains and pick a movie for us. I mean, it can be anything you want. It can be horror. It can be comedy. It can be, did I say, a musical? It can be anything. It can be science fiction. It can be anything at all, as long as it is a cult classic or a B movie. Anything else you want is perfectly acceptable. So there we have that one.
I'm excited to see what people suggest
Mm,
because it's becoming difficult to think of movies to suggest that haven't already been covered.
mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Although there's a whole backload of movies that are so bad they're great. You know, I've got like hosts of these things. They're everywhere. I mean, so yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. But like I says, I'll put this post up on January the 1st, and it'll be pinned the whole year. So whatever you want to cover, go onto our Instagram page and give us suggestions for it. So, and we'll cover them if we haven't already covered them. That is. So look in our back catalogue and find out what has been covered. Right then. So all I can say is 2025 felt like a battle royale, so that's why it's wrapped up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so all I can say is bye.
Happy New Year.